It's did you exhaust all the resources? Like, I've done everything I could. It's not for a lack of effort. If I didn't make it, I'm just not good enough. I need more time. It's not for a half-assed attempt. Like, I've exhausted all resources to be as good at that one thing as I possibly can. And I'm just not there yet. I came home one day and we kind of got into a big blowout. I don't remember what it was. It was a stack of paperwork, and he's like, "You're going to graduate high school in 2 months, and you're getting out of my house." It's my junior year. The towers had just fell. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I'm done. You're out. You can join the Navy. You can get a job at Home Depot." He's like, "I don't care. You graduate in 2 months. You're out." Okay, I guess I'm going to be a SEAL. And he's like, "I don't care what you do. You don't have to be a SEAL." So when I joined, and if you talk to anybody who was in the special operations community, I'd say 90% of them, they join with a contract guaranteeing them a slot to BUDS. Like, you're guaranteed, you graduate this, pass this test, you'll go to BUDS. I didn't have any of that. I had nothing but waivers, and there was no guarantee, and I went to boot camp on a whim. Like, it was essentially a handshake deal. Like, yeah, when I get there, take the screen test like everybody else, and you'll pass it and you'll get through. And not advised by anybody who wants to join the military. That is not it's not the best way to do it. Definitely not the safe option. I did. Graduated high school like 2 months later. And I think in that process, I kind of switched him. Because he didn't care what I did. Joined the Marine Corps, joined the regular Navy. I don't care. Don't go to BUDS. Go to BUDS. I don't care. And I just started training every day. And we did the most unconventional things, but I mean, he knew how to get through it. I mean, we'd sit on the living room table with, he'd put weights on the end of my feet, and I'd do ankle rotations to strengthen up your ankles for finning, swimming to fin zone, just the whole thing, just really, really getting ready for it. And I was always kind of spiritual, not religious by any stretch, but very spiritual. And I'd do these deep meditation walks where I would just envision how cold the water was, what the sand felt like, what it sounded like, because I've heard BUDS in my mind a million times. I've seen the videos, I've grown up around it, and I knew what the end state was. I just didn't know all the different actual steps I had to take to get there. I knew we went to BUDS, I knew all the big pieces because I've grown up in it. And a lot of that was the unknown. Like, I know, but I don't know. I understand the finished article, what I want to be. I just don't know every single step to get there. And the unknown was hard for me. From the outside looking in, it is a normal school in the military. They have a start time, they have an end time, they feed you 3 times a day. They have cadre that go home to their wives every night. I mean, it's a normal Navy school, but from the hours they have you, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like you're on an island they control. They control the weather, they control the tides, the sunset, they control it all. And whatever they want to have happen, it happens. So you'll wake up at 4 a.m. will be your first muster. You'll go do we'll call it a circle PT, basically out on a grinder, big flat top of pavement. The whole class will run in there. You have to run everywhere you go. You can't walk while you're in BUDS. You're always jogging no matter what. To catch you walking, it gets pretty bad. So you'll run in, you all get in formation, screaming, hooting and hollering, and some freak will walk out of that building, sipping a cup of coffee, and he's a physical phenom. At whatever it is he's about to do, he's the best at. So when you go on these runs, they'll get the fastest dude to set the pace, and he'll go down that beach at, 5.5 minute mile and cruise it the entire way. And you're blowing snot trying to catch up to him, and it looks like it's effortless. So they have this Herculean approach that you'll never be able to get there. You'll never be able to chase him. You're chasing greatness all day long is what it feels like. And then I understand the reality. Like, I know exactly what happens at the end of this course. I know exactly how that guy really is because I've got to see it. All these other guys haven't. I was like, it's not putting on a show, and in the moment, you never get to think that. Like, I know this guy. Because a lot of the instructors I actually did know. They grew up with my dad, and I knew exactly who they were, but it's so different when you're in the moment. It's like, I can't say your name, I can't ask you a question, I am just stuck in this. And that goes on and on. You basically go from meal to meal, and the evolutions get harder, the times get faster, the push-ups increase, the pull-ups increase, the runs increase, and times get faster. So the whole time you're going through, you're getting more broken down, but you're getting faster and stronger, and they're showing it. So all the standards increase. Which you could get away with 3 weeks ago, you can't get away with now. Now it's exponentially harder. So when I went out to California, I was very different than most kids. I was very young. I didn't know anything. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a cell phone. I couldn't buy anything. Couldn't buy beer, couldn't drink a beer. And I basically just sat there in that barracks room and just focused on buds. And it was not easy for me. And if I'm being honest, if I had to go through right now in the same condition I was in 2002, they wouldn't even take me now. You have to be such a physical phenom to even get orders to buds now, that my whole trajectory would have been thrown off completely. And just by the time, the place, how young I was, how fast I healed, that's really how I had a leg up on anybody. I came in 2002, did my initial block of training, came through, they let us volunteer. So we had an opportunity to check into a team early and get right into a platoon and go to Iraq early. Iraq had just kicked off, so we were just trying to rush to get in Iraq. And we didn't hear much. My dad was already retired out, so we didn't get to hear about all the daily fighting and what it was really like. So a lot of it was hearsay. A lot of it was just on the news. Or you talk to cadre, the new bud instructors that just came back from Iraq or Afghanistan, so they were like the new hotness. They'd walk around the compound, you just look at them. Dude, he just came back from Iraq. You know what I mean? It's like they always had this air of mystique to him. And then we got there.
Just like a businessman, this is my office. This is where I do my thing. Let's go.
Come on, CT, let's go.
Overtraining was a normal thing for me. I didn't think it was called fucking overtraining. I didn't fucking believe. What do you mean overtraining? 200 rep sets, man, that's just fucking training. That ain't overtraining. How can you do too many squats or too many deadlifts or too many? You're out of your fucking mind. They think I'm crazy when I say fuck overtraining. I think they crazy for saying it's overtraining. So, yeah, I'm like, this is just a normal fucking workout, man. It depends on who you're talking to, whether it's overtraining or not. Talk to me, it's no fucking such thing, baby. Let's go. When I say obsessed with weightlifting, when I wasn't weightlifting, I was dreaming about weightlifting. If I wasn't doing it, I'm dreaming about it, I'm talking about it. And where's CT at? Anybody who knew me knew, where's CT at? In the gym. Fuck, either I'm at work or in the gym. A lot of people, I worked at 8, 12-hour day, whatever the shift called for at the post office. My entire weightlifting career, I worked at the post office, 28 years at the post office. So all during world championships, I always had a regular job. So I was working, but man, and while I'm at the post office working, I'm thinking about, fucking, I can't wait to get out of here so I can go lift weights for another 3, 4 hours. It was just, weightlifting was my magnificent obsession. I mean, you gotta want to do it bad, to do it after. On a world championship level, to do it after you put in 8, 12 hours on your regular job and then go do this shit. I mean, a lot of these guys I see them now complaining about their weightlifting, and that's all they do is lift weights. They don't have a fucking regular job trying to take care of 3 or 4 little kids, making sure everybody, and then go do this. Then I'll kind of listen to your complaints, but if all you're doing is lifting weights and you're fucking complaining, shut the fuck up. At my peak strength, I was 325 pounds. My best lift, I bench pressed 705 in the gym, not in competition. That was my best lift. I mean, I squatted the same as I bench pressed. So my deadlift was around the same as a little over, 750, I think was my max deadlift. So all in the sevens. The bench, squat, and deadlift, all in the sevens.
Our 2 guest lifters, competitors.
C.T. Fletcher was a symbol of hope. He held no great gifts, no birthrights. He was an ordinary guy, just like the millions of people watching his videos. But he held something, an idea, a belief. It's still your motherfucking set. That belief transcended the gym. We carry it into our daily lives. When life gets hard, it's still your set. When you want to give up, it's still your set. It doesn't deny your suffering. It is acknowledgement that despite the struggle, you still have to get up and face the day. Stop pitying yourself. Stop making excuses. It is still your set.
I still have a magnificent obsession mentality. It's just switched. Yeah, I think to be the absolute best at anything, I mean, you can be good or pretty good or so-so, or I'm competitive, but to be absolutely the best, you have to be obsessed with that. You can't casually be the best. That's fucking impossible. You can't haphazardly be the fucking best. That's impossible. If you want to be the fucking best, you're gonna have to be obsessed with that shit. And I don't care what it is you want to be the best at. That obsessive personality or character trait is something that you must be born with. You have to have, because I can't teach you obsession. That is something that comes from within. Either you got it or you don't fucking got it. If it's in you to be that kind of obsessive personality, it's there. You just have to find out what your obsession is. And you can instantly spot it. When I see another person that has it, that spark, I talked to Hoist Gracie, and he told me, he said, I never planned the after party or going out and having drinks with my friends after the fight. And I was like, and why is that, Hoist? He goes, because I am prepared to die in that octagon. So as far as I'm concerned, there is no after the fight. I'm prepared to die right here on this motherfucking octagon. Fuck, there's somebody else on the fucking planet who's just as crazy as me and who's willing to go just as fucking far as I am. A lot of people wouldn't understand it. They just they couldn't comprehend because they have a playing it safe type of mentality. Oh, that's just crazy. I would never do that. They would not be willing. They'll go so far, and then the caution lights will come on. And, I'm sorry, I just can't. It's the type of mindset that there is no caution lights. There is no hazard signs. There is no barriers. You're driving a car that has no fucking brakes and only high gear. I got no brakes, only fucking high gear. I don't have any fallback plan. It's tunnel vision. I'm gonna fucking do this or I'm gonna die trying. That is the attitude of the obsessed. No, I don't, no. What about this? No, I don't got time for that. What about this? Nope, I don't got time for that. I'm doing this. But what if it doesn't work? That's how you think. And that's why it won't work for you. Because you always have that question again, well, what if? What if? Fuck what if. I don't have time for what if. This shit is gonna be done because I fucking said so. You look at people's before and after picture. You see a before picture where they start out all fucked up, and then in the after picture they look wonderful because they put themselves through all this stuff. Some people's life will be a before and a fucking before. They will never have a fucking after. There will never be an after picture. I would much rather have the life or live a life where I have a fucking after picture where I can look back and say, I did this, I accomplished that, I went after it, I fucking did that thing. Look, you're showing your grandkids your pictures And from 1953, you look fucked up in 1953, you show them in 2023, you still look fucked up. Hey, look, Grandpa ain't never been shit. I was always fucked up. I don't have an after picture, kids. I'm fucking before and before, man. I don't have an after picture. So I'd much rather be a has-been than never was. I have no tolerance or no time for self-pity. Self-pity, oh my God, you get on my fucking nerves. Shut the fuck up and eat that shit. You're like, it's too hard. Oh, I can't do. Shut the fuck up and do that shit.
So, I mean, the toughest part of SEAL training is Hell Week. Hell Week is considered by many to be the hardest block of training in the U.S. military. We definitely have the highest attrition rate of any block of training, specifically in that week. On average, you'll lose almost 80% of the class will quit during Hell Week. And it is the pruning, if you will. It is probably the biggest training device used in SEAL training to weed out the people who don't have the mental fortitude to endure massive discomfort and pain to want to be there, because they apply it in a myriad of really hard ways. Number one, physically demanding activity for Hell Week lasts a week, almost a week. I mean, it's about 5.5 days, so a work week, if you will. During that week, you get almost no sleep. You'll average about 3 hours of sleep. So probably 72 hours in, you're starting to hallucinate. I remember multiple times I was hallucinating during Hell Week. You're 90% of the time you are wet, cold, and coated in sand. So what's happening is you're chafing holes. A lot of guys chafe holes on the inside of their legs and their groin area and your armpits, on your neck, on top of your head. Not uncommon for guys, toenails and fingernails to fall off or pop off from just being wet. You're shivering all the time. So what starts to happen, your muscles are locking up from shivering. So now you're like locking up in pain from shivering. You literally become primal. It almost becomes like, I just have to survive this. But you also have to think. You still have to exist as a team. You have to get through the evolutions, because it's not like mindless activity. Everything is, you're accomplishing different things, from problem solving to navigating the obstacle course to doing a time run to doing swim, whatever it is. You're doing all these different things, but now you're doing it with the highest levels of stress, pressure, pain, and lack of sleep. I think for a lot of guys that go out to training, for whatever reason, they're not prepared for the level of shock that training does to you. I mean, it is designed to be mentally, physically, and emotionally overwhelming. I mean, it's purposely designed to be that way. It's purposely designed to be unfair. And a lot of guys just cannot wrap their head around that. And they're really good. They tee it up slowly before day one of training starts. So in the in-doc phase for like a month, you're kind of learning what training is, and they kind of act like it's hard, and it is hard. But not like when day one hits, it's like they hit you with a sledgehammer. And man, there's a mass exodus of people that quit within the first couple of days, just right out the gates. And I think those are the people that haven't been able to wrap their heads around, like, this is going to be really hard. And so for me, that was no shock. I was like, okay, this is what we expected, so let's go. Hell Week was amazing. I mean, to know that I had finished it. I mean, Hell Week is the biggest crucible of SEAL training. There's still some other ones, and Hell Week is what bonds every SEAL. Fast forward to the end of training. I mean, training from Hell Week, you still have 4 months of training before you graduate. Hell Week's actually in the beginning. When you graduate, and then the other thing with that is when you graduate, that doesn't mean you're a SEAL. That just means you've made it through the first phase. Basic underwater demolition SEAL training is kind of like high school. and then you have to go to college, and then they assign you to a platoon. And almost, if you look at it from like a medical thing, you know, you got to do residency before you're actually officially a doctor or a practicing doctor. That pipeline is kind of similar to us. So you get assigned to a team after you've gone through some advanced training or college, and then you have to prove yourself, you know, kind of like a residency phase, if you will. Back in the day, it was a huge rite of passage. The entire team would line up. The commanding officer would have all the new guys who were getting their tridents. And back then, we used to wear camouflage uniforms, and we had black tridents that the older, you know, the other guys wore in their uniforms. But on your dress uniform, it was a gold trident. And they would present you with that, but then they would tack in your black trident, and they would punch it into your chest. And man, it was an amazing rite of passage. I mean, yes, there's a picture in my book where my chest is all bruised from having 200 teammates, you know, punch my trident in. But it's such an amazing rite of passage. And you just feel amazing. Like, I'm a part of this community, this warrior community, and I've done all these things to reach this level.
This, what I'm doing in April, yeah, it's a world first. It's never been done in the history of the world. It's a 900-mile run from Land's End to John O'Groats, a 900-mile cycle from John O'Groats to Land's End, then a 1,000-mile kayak from Land's End to John O'Groats, back to back. It'll take 3 months every single day, pounding, spinning, and churning, yeah? I make decisions every single day based on being competent in doing what's necessary. Is this going to make me better? No. It goes. Is this going to help my life? No, it goes. Is this going to create a brighter future for those around me? No, it goes. And it's simple as that. If you can do what's necessary and what you need to do, the rewards that you gain will be unparalleled and unmatched. There's so many what ifs in this world. What if this didn't happen? What if this did happen? What? Why me? Why did that happen to me? Why did this happen to me? Why do I have to go through this pain? Why do I have to feel this way? Why do I have to think this in my head? You can ask yourself so many questions, and for me, it's unproductive. For me, no matter how much I didn't want it to happen, it did. No matter how much I want to bring her back, I can't. No matter how much I don't want to feel the pain I have to feel every day, I do. So with that being the case, what am I going to do about it? And that's what I think. I'm a juggernaut. I'm an immovable, unstoppable force of nature that will go after whatever I want to go after and get it at all costs, no matter what I have to face, because of the love that I have in my heart and how much it means to me to get it. So if people want to talk about me, carry on. They're just wasting their time. And they're fueling me either way. Whether you say something good to me, great. Whether you say something bad to me, great. Makes no difference, because my purpose is too strong to let anything affect me or knock me off that track. Doesn't matter what I have to face, doesn't matter what I come up against. What matters is my attitude towards it. And I always run head on into the storm, because the sooner I run head on into it, the sooner I'll be out the other side into bright skies and green pastures. That's what I believe. I've learned never to quit, because the pain of quitting is far worse than the pain of seeing what you're seeing through at the time. I've learned to enjoy the person that I become afterwards because of the journey that I had to endure. Remember that quitting will last with you forever. The pain of what you're going through right now will just be temporary. See it through, get to the other side, and on to the next one. I think that this life, is a pathway to heaven or hell. And I don't think all of us have done, will do, or deserve to earn that place in heaven. I think that's part of the challenge of life. Can you be a good enough person? Can you do enough in this world to actually make it through those gates? And I'm trying to build my CV to be able to do that. I know that my daughter will be in heaven. I know that she was the most beautiful and purest of souls. And I know that her struggle on this earth would have gave her the shortcut to the most peaceful, the most blissful, the most loving, the most nurturing, the most caring place that any of us could hope, wish, or dream to be. And I'm just trying to fight every single day to join her there. And that's why I make the decisions that I make on a day-to-day basis. That's why I make the sacrifices that I make. And that's why I choose to be the person that I'm choosing to be, because of the place that I'm desperate to get to so much, because of the person that's there. And yeah, nothing in my life is fact-based. It's hope, it's belief. I believe there is heaven. I don't know, I believe. I believe that if there is a heaven, my daughter's there. And I hope that I can do enough in my life to make it through those gates to be with her. Living every single day of your life, going through absolute hell for hope and belief and no facts is a pretty powerful thing, because I don't know if I'll see her in the end. I just hope that I do.
You've just got to embrace it. You've got to fucking, that saying, which I don't really like saying, but it's true, you've got to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. You've just got to accept. It's like anything. Firstly, just acknowledge where you are and what you've got. You can't change it. Well, you can change it, you've got to do something about it. So accept it. Hard or fucking good as it is, you are where you are. Now what can I do about it? And you've got to do something about it. Life's a runway. As a kid, you know, you're still at the end of this runway and it goes on forever. You know, and then before you know it, you're in your 30s and you're kind of a quarter of the way down the runway and you're thinking about, I need some money, I need a house, I need this. And then get into your 40s, 50s and you realise, fucking hell, I'm almost at the end of the runway, I'm going to take off. And I would say, if I could take a step back now and change, I would change that. Don't do the stupid things of, you know, proving yourself to be this tough guy. Stay away from that. Spend time with your brothers, your sisters, people who really mean something to you, not the guy who's the hard guy in the street who actually don't care about anybody but himself anyway. If young kids listening to this would take one thing away, time is the most important thing, not who you think you are, how much money you got, what materials you are, what your reputation is. Time is everything, and spend it with the right people and doing the right thing. It's necessary to fail, because failing builds resilience. You know, if you, one of these people, imagine if somebody who never gets anything wrong, you never really tested, you never really grow, you never really improve. That's what you think you are, that's maybe what you are. I think it's important to go through hard times to realise the value of what is important to you, the simple things in life that are important to you. And you know, it's important to, again, to fail, to be knocked back, to show your real character of how you respond to that, how you get up and go forward again. You know, so it is, yeah. And I think that's what helped me and the people like me who had my sort of background, going through those hardships, helped us in the next phase of our life to be one step ahead of a lot of people, because you've got all that experience of having hardships. I'm one of these people who, I don't take anything for granted. Like, if I'm boxing a certain opponent, I know I can beat him, but I never say that to myself. I always take it as, this is my first fight and this kid is probably as good as me. So I'm always very humble about how I think about what I'm going to. Even if I've done it 1,000 times and never failed it, I'll always think this could be the one I fail. So I always have this sort of personal risk mitigation in everything that I do through my mind. I always think about it. I always think, be aware I could get this wrong, and it keeps me sharp and on my toes. But be aware, I'm not afraid of it. I'm going to give it a go no matter what. You know, I also have that drive. I'm not scared to be knocked down. I'm not scared to be knocked back. I'm still going to go at it, and I'm going to try and reach that goal, whatever that goal may be. I just say to myself, and I just believe in it. I've always got that part of my mind where I think, if I fail, it's not the end of the world. You know, it ain't what I wanted, but so what? I'm gonna go again. And as long as I've got that, I'm not afraid to, I'm not worrying about failing. All I'm thinking about is winning. And that generally is enough to get me to the place I really want to be. You know, I remember looking at all these people, 283 people on selection, looking at them all going, fucking hell, they all look bigger, they all... Okay, let me keep that in the back of my mind. Maybe I'm not, but I ain't going to give up. I'm going to give it my best shot. And as people fall by the wayside, I've kind of grew strength out of their failure, their weakness, to make me feel better, but keeping it humble, you know, keeping humility and going, okay, I could still fall at the next hurdle and just go again and again. And I always think about that, you know, no matter if you've done it 100 times, it's not a done deal. You've still got to do it all again, and always treat it as the first time and with respect, and, you know, never underestimate your opponent, never underestimate what is in front of you. No matter if you've done it 1,000, million times. Treat everyone as a new challenge and give it everything you've got. And I do that all the time.
As soon as I'm awake, normally about 5:30, out of bed, don't wash, I get straight into my gym kit and I go. No water, no music, because I believe it creates distractions and I like to focus on what I'm doing. And every time I go out, I set myself sort of a distance, boundaries, and every time I do it, I break them. So I always say to myself, always a little further, and that's what I'll do, whether it's an extra kilometre, extra set of burpees, extra set of whatever, that's what I'll do. And I do that. And also, I'm at that stage in my life now where I train every day, but it works for me. People ask me, what time do you do this? I don't go out trying to break timings and chasing stuff. I don't. I do enough to push me. And I always say to myself, always a little further in my head, and that's what I'll do. So I know at the end of the day, I've done something, little or as long as it is, and as hard as it is or not hard. Some days I'll just go, getting started is difficult, but once I'm started, I don't want to finish. You know, and I have to finish because I've got to be at work or whatever I'm doing. So, but it's religious. I do it every morning, literally every morning. You know, results, not excuses, is what I say. You won't get results by just thinking about it and talking about it. You get it by doing it. And it doesn't matter. First thing you have to accept is, one, it probably ain't going to be comfortable. But two, it's definitely going to be worth it. So just get out and do it. And there's many mornings I get up, I don't want to do it. But once I get started, I'm off. And then the hardest thing for me after that is stopping. And I'll only stop because I know, obviously, I've got a day's work ahead of me. I've got to get other things done. But it really is. It's a foundation to my day, my life. It just really sets me in the right tone, right mind. And yeah, I do. I recommend it for every single person, old, young, no matter what shape or condition you're in. Even if it means getting up and walking around the kitchen 3 times because of your health reasons, you've done something. And in your mind, you know you've done it. And your mind then says to you, yeah, you've earned the chance to go and sit down and have a cupcake or whatever you're going to do.
Quitting is death. That's it. That's quitting. Death. Done. That wasn't your choice. That's God's way of telling you failed. That ain't happening. Not today, Satan. It is. It's true. When you want to improve and grow and build resilience, you've got to go. That pain comes with it. That pain is the foundation, the mortar to becoming a better person and achieving better things. If it's easy, it ain't worth it. It's not a challenge, is it? It's not worth it. Mate, when I finished, the last thing you do on the hills phase of selection is endurance. It's called endurance. It's about 60k, 60 miles, wherever it is, and you're carrying a fucking house on your back. And before I even started it, my knee was out here. I thought, I ain't gonna be able to do this. And I could quite easily have gone, I ain't gonna do it, because the damage I might do at the end of it, could fuck me up forever. But I wanted to do it. I knew I wanted to do it, and I thought, fuck it, I'm gonna take that risk. I'm gonna take that pain. I'm not gonna make that an excuse not to do this. And then by the time I finished it, my knee was almost the size of my waist. I did it in fast. I did it in a fast time because it was hurting so much. And I knew the quicker I do it, the quicker this pain's gonna stop. So the pain hurt me more and I went faster. My mind says, I want it. And I wanted it. I wanted it in my heart to say to myself, I'm gonna finish this. Always, it's my mantra every single day, mate. You know, whether that's you going for a run and you don't feel like you want to run, just go for it, just do it. and you can do it. And that always a little further, it helps me if I'm going to use the running sort of scenario. I'll get up in the morning, I don't have a plan of how far I'm going to run and where I'm going to run, as you probably know. But I'll go out there and I feel I can't justify having done anything until I feel a little bit tired, a little bit worn out. So I'll say, right, okay, I'm going to run 3 miles. I can see the 3 mile turnaround and I go, all right, I'm going to go 4 miles. I'll go another mile. Then before I know it, I've ran out 6 miles and I've got another 6 miles to run back. So that's that little further, it's always there subconsciously pushing me anyway. But in everyday life, it's just about giving 100%. Just always do your fucking best and try and go that little bit further, like, you know. 1 more inch, one more inch, 1 more foot, 2 more steps. It's still a little bit further. Just don't give up, just keep going. I'll tell you what, because your mind will take you to places where your body don't want to go. You can get to a finish line with a broken leg, in pain. You'll get there as long as your mind says, I'm gonna get there. You know, when you say you're gonna do something, do it. Do it. And when your mind says, you know, you've said this, I'm gonna do 10 miles, then when you've got an option to give up, it's a weak option when you give up. You can take that giving up option out of the equation, and the option is, I have to finish this. I have to get to that point. Whether your fucking feet are blistered, your back is hurting, your shoulder feels like one's snapped and the other one's all right, so what? So what? When you get to that finish point, that's when you can address that problem. Let that pain actually drive you on. Think about that pain and don't think about the distance. And then before you know it, you're at the end of the distance. So the mind will take you, it'll take a broken body to a point where, you know, you probably didn't want to go, but you can get there. I'm telling you, it's gonna, well, it's uncomfortable. I don't want to go on. I know you don't want to, but you are gonna go on. Your mind says you are gonna go on. You're gonna get there. It is not the end of the world.
Checking into the team was different because I knew a lot of the guys. I knew a lot of the senior guys. I'd kind of grown up with them, but I'm not connected to them. It was never a, hey, what's up? It was never like that. And they made it known. Like, some of the guys I've known my entire life. And then we went to Iraq and I felt like a fish out of water for the first couple weeks. I couldn't believe it was happening because I wanted it. Like, I wanted to go to Iraq so bad. I wanted to go to Afghanistan. I wanted to get into a fight. And then when you got there, I felt so immature. And not immature, like maturity-wise, but immature in life. Like, it was hard for me to wrap my head around because you'd hear all this stuff on the news about WMDs and oil and all of this and, you know, all this negative spin they would put on it, and none of that mattered. None of it mattered. Your political views don't matter, your religion doesn't matter, your race, color, creed doesn't matter. These dudes are trying to kill your ass all fucking day. And it was. And a lot of it you felt helpless because you would just drive these routes trying to get from base to base, and you would just see this wreckage on the side of the road. It's just, there's no way anybody survived that. Not a chance. And you're just waiting. So a lot of it, you get on these roads and you'd be on a breath hold, man, as long as you could go, and you're just these dudes would sit there on the other side of the bridge. So you would, you know, enter on the left side or enter on the right side, you'd come out on the left, and everybody would zigzag because these dudes would sit on top and they'd pull pins on grenades. And as soon as you drove through, they'd launch them, trying to land them inside of your turret. It's like, and there's just people up there the whole time. So there's nothing you can do. You can't just shoot them. They're not brandishing anything. You're just waiting for a tink, tink, and that's it. So every time you drive on them, you're just looking at these people, like waiting for something to lob over and just, oh God. And you'd hear explosions in the distance or up in front of you or behind you. You're like, oh my God, when's it gonna happen? And because of the quarantine and the lockdown, they had everybody on. I mean, we went weeks. You wouldn't see anybody. You know, we'd do daytime patrol, you'd see everybody out, and then as soon as the sun would set, ghost town. I mean, nobody. We went out dozens of times. I never saw anybody. Never. You're like, what is going on here? Like, is there anybody even here? And then all of a sudden, sure as shit, you gotta give them time. Now they all start to come out. It's like, oh, okay. Like, this is real. These people are actually trying to kill us all. And it doesn't matter why you're here. Like, you're here to try to liberate people. You're here to try to make the country. Doesn't matter. They don't care. And once you kind of get over that, you realize that it doesn't matter why you're here. You're here and you're going to stay here, and you got to finish this entire job, and you got to be as safe as possible. I think for me, that trip to 2005, we lost the guys in Afghanistan, and that was a huge culture shock. That was probably the dose of reality that everybody needed, that it doesn't matter how fancy you are, how strong you are, how good you can shoot, how elite your team is. If you never get a chance to fight, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many kids you have, it doesn't matter how beautiful your wife is. Gone in an instant. And that reality is really what I needed. The only thing that's going to protect me is, have I exhausted all my resources? Have I spent every single minute training as hard as I can? Have everybody here trained as hard as they could? And if not, why not? Do you not understand the reality? Or have you lost sight of it? And a lot of that, back in the day, we'd lose sight. I lost sight countless times. Drinking, fighting, doing stuff we shouldn't have been doing, not being a professional. It takes a couple times of really, really close calls, or being jammed up in a bad situation and barely coming out of it, to realign your focus. These are real bullets, man. Those are real grenades, and those are real people that are trying to kill you. And if you are just not better than they are, they're going to get you. And a lot of the times, it doesn't even matter. You understand it's a timing thing, and you can have the best tactic in the world, the most trained dude in the world, and if you're looking that way, when that dude comes out of that door, doesn't matter how good you are. You'll never see him coming. A lot of it, you don't want to chalk it up to fate, but a lot of it is. A lot of it you can't control. If you spend your whole time obsessing over that, it really, to me, it weeds down your confidence. It's like, I've exhausted everything I can, and if my plane gets shot down, my plane gets shot down. There's nothing I can do about that. I can't fly the plane too. Can't do it all. But have we exhausted all our resources to take out all the variables we can? Yeah. Are we all as trained as we can be? Yeah. Am I physically fit? Yeah. Am I mentally in tune with everything around me? Yes. Can't do anything more than that. Let's go. I feel like the more and more you do it, the more confidence you build after a while, but it takes a little bit. They're always calling for O negative blood every hour on the hour. And you're like, what's up with all the O negative blood? And like, universal donor. I'm a universal donor. I'm just over there farming out blood this whole time. It's like, because everybody's getting blown up. It's like, it's just not happening to us. We're just missing it over and over and over again. It's like, are we just that good? Are we just that lucky? That's not the truth. That's not the truth at all. They don't care who you are. It's just a timing thing. They're just waiting for the next vehicle. And we're never that next vehicle. We just missed it. And then when that helo got shot down in Afghanistan, that really was a reality check that it doesn't matter. The dudes who were on that helicopter, guys who were on the ground, were so good, so trained, so experienced, and it did not matter. The pilots, you couldn't have picked better pilots on Earth. I mean, they were the best pilots that have ever flown aircraft. They just are. Still got shot out of the sky. Doesn't matter. Like, when you take that away, you take out that blanket of, are you showing that blanket of vulnerability? Like, you're not invincible, dude. You are not. That patch, that flag you have on means shit. Nothing. It's not going to protect you. It will not. The only thing that's going to protect you is timing. Control the variables all you want to. If they shoot you out of the sky, it doesn't matter how tough you are on the way down. Like, well, what do we do? Control the things you can't control. Like, I control my output. I control my work effort. Like, I can put as much in this as humanly possible, and I can tell you I'll go the entire way. But if they never give me the opportunity, it's like, that's really what I struggled with, is what if I never get the opportunity to fight? What if I get blown up? I wake up, both my legs are gone, both my arms are gone. Like, I'm 19 years old. What? I don't want this to happen. That was my big fear, is that I'd get crushed. I'd get blown up, I'd get killed, and I'd never have a chance. It'd be some random new guy, some 19-year-old Navy SEAL, and flash on the screen and be gone. It's not how I want to go out. It's not how I want to. I want to get into a real fight. Like, let's really go. And when it happened, I think, for one, it confirmed a lot of the training you were doing was actually going to work. Built a little bit of confidence in the group, and confidence that I can actually pull this off. Like, that dude has been training for months to kill me. He should have, and he didn't. Okay, well, once we chalk it up to luck, let's see what happens 2, 3, 4, 5, over and over and over, like, still successful. Okay, like, we might be onto something here. Like, this might actually be working. And you start to get in behind the deeper layers of it, really obsessing over the craft and really getting into it. And it's like, well, how do I buy down as much risk as possible? You live it. You become that method actor. become Daniel Day-Lewis. Like really, really immerse yourself in it. Really, really live it all day, every day. And you won't know the difference between training and reality. It's like now your training becomes so realistic, it ingrains in you. You'll see guys in training that there is zero difference. If you were to record them, they don't know it. In wherever on a training mission, flash forward to Afghanistan, the exact same scenario, you'd have no idea where they are. It looks the exact same, the mannerisms are the same. If it's a paint round going by them, like a paintball, or an actual AK-47, their body change doesn't. It's the exact same. The reactions are the exact same because in their mind, it's all real. It's like when you do that, it telegraphs a positive body language you can't unsee. Once you see it, that's what everybody needs to see, exactly what he's going to do for real. And then when you see it in real time, you're like, I've seen that 55 times, I already know what this is. I already know exactly what he's going to do now, and they will. And you can start to predict the future. How best can I support him? Where can I move to be at that angle? Where can I do this? Where can I do that? Because now I can read exactly what you're thinking, because all our training is the exact same. So when I look 30 feet down the hallway and I see you doing something, I know exactly what you're thinking. I know because I've seen it 1,000 times. People take the paint rounds, the training rounds, like they're paintballs. Brush it off, I'll wash my pants. It's not how it is in reality. You know, it really did, it became hunting, is what it became. And it's like you have to treat it like it's the most dangerous game you'll ever play, because it is.
On this particular day, we were going to go up, support another bunch of NGOs that were opening up a bunch of houses for the people who had nothing. You know, a real nice thing they were doing. So we decided we'll go up there, support these people that are doing these great things, and then maybe go to the beach for an hour. Been out all day, did that, coming back, so there's me, Sean, I'm driving, Sean's in the car in the front, my now wife Jules and two of her friends, female friends, are in the back. We're coming back normal day, and at this particular time, the kidnapping thing had just stepped up more. You know, they're realising grab a Westerner, because most people are paying money. It was a means of income to them. And as we come into this sort of built-up village, which was more shanty town thing, it's like a dirt type track, and as I'm coming down, it was like almost like a scenario that we've done hundreds of times in the regiment. Situation awareness of spot the unusual, something's not right sketch. So we're all driving there in the back laughing, we're chatting, me and Sean, and I just clock in front of me, again, that's sixth sense, something ain't right. And I'm driving steadily down the road, and in the road, walking towards us, about 50 metres away at the moment, three people, three blokes, you know, so around about the 20s age group. And they're walking to it, and I'm noticing just their demeanour, it looks to me like they've got weapons. And I'm not saying anything to anybody, but I'm clocking it and I'm thinking, right, in my head now, I'm formulating a plan, and the plan's simple. I'm gonna fucking run these over. And I ain't got time to brief them, tell them what's going to go on. And as I'm looking at them, beyond them is like a big old industrial lorry. And it's coming across the road, it's going to block the road. So as you're coming down the dirt track, down the right-hand side, where the truck is a bit of a pavement and a wall, solid brick wall. To the left are buildings, so I definitely can't get round to the left. The only way I'm going to get round is either before that lorry closes that gap, or I'm going to have to mount the pavement. And I'm watching this scenario, it's building up in my head. So as we're driving towards it, I kind of look at Sean, and I've got a feeling Sean's picked up on it as well. And now I've seen a pistol. I've seen a guy in a red jumper, and he's walking sort of, I can see the pistol in the bottom of his hand. The guy to the left had something, I couldn't tell what it was, whether it was a rifle down his side. And as we got near, they tried to bring the weapon up to stop us. So I just hit the gas. And I can see the lorries now trying to close that gap as well. They're all in this together, they're going to block us in and kidnap us or do whatever they're going to do. So I drive straight at these people. Sean's cool as a cucumber, he's got it. The girls in the back are screaming, wondering what is going on. He's lost his mind. So I'm aiming at them. That's now my weapon. They're getting it. So I go out and they dive out the way. I then fucking mount the curb and literally down the side, I'm almost scraping the wall. I'm fucking, before the truck can close us in, through the truck, and then just fucking spin it to the left, and then just break down to normal driving again. And the girls go, what the fuck's going on? I don't say anything. We're about 5 minutes away from our location, which was the hotel we were staying at, which was our hotel that we'd built. And then we drive into the hotel, They're white as a ghost. Sean's cool as a cucumber. I go to the bathroom. We get into the hotel. I thought, let's get a drink. We go into our little hotel foyer. The girls are still going, what the fuck is wrong with you? What's going on? You know, all fucking dishevelled. So Sean's sat there and he's got a drink and he's got a napkin. I go to the toilet and then, mate, it's that moment, you know, like True Romance, where he talks to himself in the mirror. Go out there, stay cool. So I'm looking at myself going, what the fuck just happened? And I'm running it in my head. And I'm like, yeah, it did. So I come out, I don't say a word. I sit down next to Sean. Sean's got a map. He's got this napkin. He's just drew out exactly where he goes. These two here. And I went, yeah, exactly. You know, bang. And that's what it was. Anyway, to finish off that story, that was one of our best days. So that happens. Then I tell the girls what had happened. And I didn't realise. And I think it was at that moment where I said to the girl, now my wife, Jill, says, if you are driving in a place like this, you have to be prepared to use this thing as a weapon. And Jules never forgets that. I says, you have to be aware that is the only thing that's going to save your life in a scenario like this. Anyway, I jump forward about 2 or 3 days later, no, same day. A few hours later, we get a report from the UN, someone's been kidnapped on the National Route 1. And what it was, same people, same location. This time it was a female working for the UN on the back of a bike. They shot the driver, killed him, took her, kidnapped her, and then whatever they did for 4 or 5 days when they held her, which was not good. Nothing's more important than your family, your health, and you doing the right thing. It's not money, it's not material, it's not whether people like it or don't like it. They're the simple things, and you've just got to use that time wisely and make those moments. Spend the time with the people. You know, jumping slightly off a little bit, I always wanted to tell my dad I loved him. And I remember I did do it. I actually did it, and it felt a real weird moment. You know, it was when we knew my mum was dying, and I was at the house, and we were just chatting. I went, it just come out of nowhere. Yeah, I love you, Dad. And he looked at me like I just said, I've just robbed your wallet. He's like looking at me like I've gone strange. And he's like, because he's a big old bruiser, like, you know, it's like, and they just changed the subject straight away. All right, I've said it. But I was glad I'd actually said that, you know. Make the time to spend with, because you just don't know what's around the corner, but make the time for what is worth making time for. That's yourself, your family, people that love you, and taking care of yourself. Time is everything. You know, time is the most valuable thing we have. You don't know how much you've got of it. You don't know when it's going to be taken away from you, and you've got to make the most of it. And I remember, I always said to myself, I used to say quite regularly, I'm going to sit with my dad and talk about my day in the Power Age and what I've been doing and this, that, the other. And then later on, after I got the MBE, my dad listening to the citation of why I got it and watching his face going, he did what? He had no idea. And I always said, I want to tell him about it. I want to make that proud moment of me to, yeah, that was me, Dad, I did this. And what I used to do, like everybody does, I'll do it next week. Kept putting it off, I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. That is my biggest regret, not actually sitting down with my dad and just going, hey, this is what I've done. Like, but yeah, I was always trying to make him feel proud of me. And I know he was, but I wanted to hear him say it. And I wanted to have to tell him things that would surprise him and make him even more prouder, if you know what I mean. If young kids listening to this would take one thing away, time is the most important thing, not who you think you are, how much money you got, what materials you are, what your reputation is. Time is everything, and spend it with the right people and doing the right thing. It's necessary to fail, because failing builds resilience. You know, if you, one of these people, imagine if somebody who never gets anything wrong, you never really tested, you never really grow, you never really improve. That's what you think you are, that's maybe what you are. I think it's important to go through hard times to realise the value of what is important to you, the simple things in life that are important to you. It's important to, again, to fail, to be knocked back, to show your real character of how you respond to that, how you get up and go forward again. Even if I've done it 1,000 times and never failed it, I'll always think this could be the one I failed. Be aware I could get this wrong, and it keeps me sharp and on my toes. I'm not afraid of it. I'm going to give it a go no matter what. You know, I also have that drive. I'm not scared to be knocked down. I'm not scared to be knocked back. I'm still going to go at it. I'm going to try and reach that goal, whatever that goal may be. I just say to myself and I just believe in it.
Today's episode, as always, was powered by Huel. Obviously, I've been using Huel for the past few years, but right now, as we speak, I'm doing the world's heaviest marathon where I do 100 kilos across Scotland, and then I'm going to have a stone cut down into a 30 kilo stone and run that back 450 miles over 10 days. To do that, I need to be fueled with the right nutrition, and that's where Huel has come in clutch. They provided me this and so much more as I consume over 15,000 calories per day running across the country. From the essentials with slow release carbs, and then we have the Black Edition, which I have been using throughout my training and I will be using all the way across the country. In this mix right here, we have 26 vitamins and minerals, slow release carbs, and 40 grams of protein in every shake that I drink to maintain my muscle mass as I burn 15,000 plus calories every single day. This is what I'm going to be using. But don't just take my word for it. There are many other amazing athletes who have been using this product, like one of my favorite, Russ, the hardest geezer, as he ran the entire length of Africa. If you want to find out more about Huel, head to the link in the description where you can get exclusive offers, or pop into your local store. All major retailers stock Huel, and I promise you, once you've tried it, you'll never go back. Brass Monkey is the premium ice bath and ice plunge around the world. They are the best of the best. They reached out to me and said they wanted to help on my goal, and they've donated a 24,000 pound ice bath. It is the top of the line, and I couldn't thank them enough. So what do we do with the ice bath? Well, first of all, it's helped me in training, but second of all, we want to donate it to one of you. So if you want to win the ice bath, which is worth over £24,000 and is the best in the world, all you have to do is donate £5 to the link in my bio at the Brass Monkey giveaway. Every £5 donation gets you an entry into the ice bath, and I promise you, this thing will change your life. I'm so sad to be letting go of the Brass Monkey ice bath. It is the best thing I've ever used for cold therapy. It's been one of the most difficult things to train for over the past 6 months. We've had injuries, blood, sweat, tears, mental breakdowns and everything. And along the way, some great friends have picked me up, including Chad Robichaud and also Vortex Optics. When they heard about my goal that I wanted to do this and I wanted to help people affected by stillbirth, they contacted me and said that they want to help out by donating their Vortex Optics, some of the most premium optics for your tools. So if you want to find out more about where you can get these optics, go to the link down below. Every $5 donation will get you an entry into the raffle, and all that money goes to the charity. Vortex is one of the most premium companies out there, and I have used them with Chad, and I can vouch for them that they're absolutely unbelievable. And Chad is an absolutely amazing guy as well, so go give him a follow. This mission is going to be one of the most difficult things I will ever do in my life, but it pales in comparison to what other people have to go through when they're grieving through loss and baby loss. So please help support this mission with the donate page and also with this giveaway.